What's up, everybody? This is Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com coming to you after Arkansas's thrilling 16-13 overtime win in Baton Rouge over the LSU Tigers. What a football game. I mean, that is what I miss about football in this day and age. Now, I would have liked to seen a few more touchdowns and everything, but this day, it's like everything's just so fast. It's a blur back and forth. There's so many touchdowns, you can't even keep up with all of it. And this was a battle back and forth, and really a game that I didn't feel good about after that first possession. I don't know that I ever really felt good about Arkansas's situation, but they kept fighting, they kept battling, especially in that first half. The defense, man, just Arkansas could not convert a third down over and over and over again. They kept throwing short of the line of scrimmage. The screen wasn't working. It should have worked because they were blitzing so much, but it wasn't working. And the Arkansas defense just kept coming out there and battling and battling. Monteric Brown at the end of the game, hell yeah. I mean, Cam Little, clutch, saving the gritty dance, his best celebration for the end. Now, I should say this also. I stayed home and watched this game at home. My wife's out of town, daughter's out of town, I was by myself, and I kind of forgot what it's like to watch a game at home where you can scream at your television, where nobody's going to tell you to calm down. It was great. I loved it because the press box is kind of like, well, that was a good play by Arkansas. Arkansas's got to have it here because there's no cheering in the press box. So it was a different experience for me watching this game, and I really loved it, to be honest with you. I did. It makes me want to, like, next time I go to a football game, instead of sitting in the press box, just sit in the stands with everybody. Maybe I'm going to start doing that for away games. I don't know. But really enjoyed watching this game. And I never really felt good about Arkansas's chances the whole time just because of the way the game was playing out. It just felt like, of course, LSU figures things out on defense, you know, right before they play Arkansas in the Alabama game with all their blitzing and stuff like that. And, of course, they've got this hotshot young quarterback who's more mobile, and he's going to figure things out against them. Of course, the referees are the referees, and we'll get to the referees, but Lord have mercy. These guys don't even know, I mean... We'll get to that, but first, you know, KJ Jefferson, it just felt like, and I'm just walking around, by the way, I'm walking around just out near my neighborhood, trying to stay near the street light so you can see me, because people like to see me walking and talking after the games instead of doing a studio show. So, and I don't mind walking and talking, especially after a win, even though it's cold. But this is the kind of walk and talk where, I don't know, I go missing or something, and somebody finds my camera with half a walk and talk on there. It's like Trey Biddy's final walk and talk. But KJ Jefferson, when they started kind of just figuring out maybe that, you know, KJ was the offense, him scrambling, him finding time. Because the screen game should have been, I mean, it really should have been there, but it just wasn't working out. They weren't blocking it up. And I asked Sam Pittman about it afterwards, so they're not blocking it. But, you know, kudos to the Arkansas defense for fighting and fighting and fighting. And, you know, the linebackers, all of them had double-digit tackles. Hayden Henry, Grant Morgan, bumper pull, fantastic game. John Ridgeway, Trey Williams, all those guys played fantastic. And, you know, I don't know, do the refs hate Trey Knox? Did he do something? Because he gets shoved out of bounds and they're like won't let go of him. And the referee comes over and he's like got a beeline for Trey Knox because Trey Knox is the troublemaker in this situation. And, you know, he sends him on his way, and then he's running through, and this dude bounces back, and Trey Knox gets pinballed back and forth, and they throw a flag on him for a personal foul at a critical moment in the game. Like, what do you do? Like, how can you throw that flag? It's just, wait till Sam Pittman sees that one. I mean, it's like anything they're going to do about it, just brush it off and stuff. But, man, and I also felt like right after that fourth down catch he had, the third down catch he had was past the marker. He clearly went past the marker. I don't know why it wasn't reviewed or anything, but Arkansas got a terrible spot on that, you know? So, anyway, there were a few things with the referees. Like, you know, Arkansas's down at the goal line, and LSU jumps off sides, and they can't get an offsides flag. I mean, and KJ's clearly throwing it up because of that. It just felt like there were so many things. Even Warren Thompson's catch, just like, let's make sure there's not even the slightest wiggle in this catch. I mean, I can't even believe they reviewed that, but. Regardless, Arkansas wins. Cam Little with a clutch kick, the gritty dance at the end, saving his best celebration for his biggest moment. I mean, that's why Cam Little was the #1 ranked kicker in the country, and he is showing why right now. I mean, he's clutch, man. He is so clutch. And I always say, like, you know, pray, but save your prayer for after the kick. Go up there with the mentality that I'm about to stick this on the green. I'm about to drive this ball straight down the fairway. And that's the kind of mentality that he has, kicking field goals. And then you pray after that. Nobody should be going up there praying right before you, oh man, I hope I make this. No, that's not the attitude you want to have. Save your prayer for after the kick. Great job by Cam Little. Great job by Arkansas's defense. I mean, they were just so, they just battled from start to finish. And I love that about the way this game played out. It was just different than so many games that we're used to seeing. It's going to be tough next week against Alabama, but man, enjoy this one right now because it's been 5 years since Arkansas beat LSU. That's the first overtime game since 2017 that Arkansas's played in, and they lost that one against Texas A&M. You kind of felt like they were due, but man, I did not feel good about it. Like the whole first half, the offense is just coming off the field over and over and over again. The defense is still right there, just still stopping them over and over again. And how about the fake punt, man, or the fake field goal? Fantastic. I thought for sure they were going 54-yard field goal. They were going to kick it, and I think everybody did. Reed Bauer, great play call. Shout out to Scott Fountain. Scott Fountain gets so much flack. You got to give him a shout out when he does something great like that. And special teams have actually been pretty solid here lately. I mean, these last couple games or so, they've done pretty well. So anyway, just a defensive battle. KJ Jefferson being gutsy. Traylon Smith coming in at a moment where they needed him to come in and made some big runs. You know, Arkansas is just kind of trying to pound at him, and it's just not working really. Traylon Burks is, you know, they're all over Traylon Burks. I mean, they weren't going to let him do anything. So, just one of those kind of games, man. And Arkansas dug down. They figured out what they needed to do to win, and they did it. And you know, you kind of felt like it was like when KJ, you know, his first scramble, when it's just like, okay, well maybe this is the answer. And that's what, you know, it's a good thing that KJ's so fat. You know, remember when everybody was talking about KJ was fat and, you know, he didn't take the right approach in the offseason? It's a good thing he's so fat because he's able to slip through those tackles nice and easily, isn't he, at 245 pounds. Man, that dude is a hoss. Great job by KJ today. And it was, I mean, let's qualify this also. LSU had a lot of players out, but there are some studs top to bottom on that roster. I mean, even with those guys out, you still look at it, they still, from a ranking standpoint, outrank Arkansas. Even when you take out all those 5 stars that were missing in this one, the offensive linemen that were missing in this one, you know, they still have a very, very talented roster. And that's why recruiting in Louisiana is so critically important because, you know, LSU is going to pull what they want out of Louisiana, obviously, and they're right there next to Houston as well. And there's just so many great players left there. And when you get a player out of Louisiana that LSU maybe didn't look at, they come with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And that's super important. That is super important to have in football. So, 16-13, Arkansas Razorbacks. It looks like I'm going to make it safely home. So, a different kind of walk and talk today. But you guys like the walk and talk? You don't want me to do the studio show. So, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. KJ, Cam Little, Reed Bauer, Scott Fountain making the call. I know there were some disappointing moments for Arkansas offense in terms of execution and stuff, the screen and, you know, throwing behind the line of scrimmage stuff. The screen game should have worked. It just wasn't. And, you know, LSU has got some hosses up front. I don't care who they have missing. I mean, they've got some athletes and they battled. I mean, kudos to them for not letting go of the rope because it's so easy to, I know. And I think they probably have some guys that have let go of the rope, and the guys who are out there had not done that. So kudos to LSU. They still have a good football team because they got the athletes, right? All right. I think we covered it. Feel good about it. Sleep well tonight, Razorback fans. Arkansas is 7-3, 3-3 in the SEC. Man, they're so close to being 8-2. A 2-point conversion from being 8-2. How's that for progress? All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This has been Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com, and we'll catch you next time.